In this particular article, I gotta say, PC Gamer is rubbing it in. Apparently, ex-PlayStation exec argues that only the dog can hear differences between consoles and gaming PCs. They are all quite similar. Now, this is something I've talked about for the longest time. When Digital Foundry got their hands on the Series X kit and the PS5 board, you could already see that these things are basically computers being cased up and put the name slapped upon them, Xbox and PlayStation. But in this particular article, they said ex-PlayStation exec argues only the dog can hear differences between console and gaming PCs. They're all quite similar. This is written by Javier Rondel. And he says, he starts out, as we tend to brag from time to time, it's becoming more and more evident that the winner of the console wars isn't a console at all, but the humble personal computer. We're totally not biased in this opinion, given the name of our website, and I don't appreciate the insinuation. Bro, you ain't lying. This is a data-driven aspect of the whole conversation, man. PC, and he's going to say it now. He said, in all seriousness, there is some truth to it. Console exclusives keep coming to PC. Their sales are down, and the conveniences of couch play are no longer the domain of the console alone. We've said all of this on the Video Game Fights Code channel. Doc got gifted a PC that he puts in his living room. He got himself one of those, remote controllers that works like a mouse. So it's just basically it's a TV remote, and you can use it to click on whatever you want to do. It's got a keyboard at the back. We have all of the accessories to make it that couch experience that you want, but a lot of people have still buried their head in the sand and continue to talk about drivers and all this stuff like it's 2006. Even in 2006, yeah, drivers were still kind of weird at the time, but nothing crazy compared to 98. Whoo! Even Nintendo, everlasting bastion of the console exclusive, is struggling to market its Switch 2 in a way that doesn't make it look like a Steam Deck with fewer games. No lies being told here. I mean, it doesn't help that there are tons of quality of life bumps on a PC too, as our own friend Fraser Brown absolutely noted last year. Being able to stream your PC to a TV, take it anywhere, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's where Shawn Layden said this. According to him in this interview, he says, former PlayStation executives, while speaking to the podcast Player Driven, did some wondering out loud on the subject, and he thinks that console wars triumvirate of the console wars triumvirate of manufacturers. What the heck is this word? I have never heard this word before in my life. I mean, I'm a teacher. I can't. What's this? Three men holding power in particular. The triumvirate. How do you say it? Triumvirate? Goodness gracious. The triumvirate of manufacturers is something that needs to go full stop. It's gone already. Don't worry. PC is going to basically undress them. All this Emperor has no clothes talk. Xbox has already basically capitulated to PC a long time ago. PlayStation capitulated to PC like 4 years ago. Nintendo is coming. Ultimately, I would like the games industry to have the same penetration rate as television sets do. This is Shawn Layden saying this. Shawn, I wonder what other platform has actually pursued this kind of penetration rate. Scratches jaw, ponders aloud. Cigar in mouth, pipe. I wonder who. Anyways, penetration rate is just fancy exec talk for what proportion of the population has this thing. For example, most households in the UK have a kettle because we like our tea very much. So how do you get there? One thing I don't think you get there by having only 3 manufacturers. It's here Layden loses me just a little. He proposes something along the lines of the game format. We'd get a pretty good game format OS if the player could agree to come together and then license that out, just like we do with Blu-ray, just like we do with a compact disc, and let people compete on content. I wonder who's competing on content and who's making games available in a large swath. I don't know, man. I can't wrap my mind around it. You know what? Maybe I'm missing something. Layden posits that the architecture in the current version of consoles and of high-end PCs are quite close now. They're all quite similar. And any changes and any enhancements to that, like we like to say in the studios, only the dog can hear that. Like, we're going to have 20% more ray tracing, okay? What? Not to push my glasses and have a very snooty chuckle, but any PC I describe as high-end routinely pushes even current-gen consoles into a locker and takes their lunch money. But that's also an uncharitable read on what I think Layden is actually getting here. Sure, you can grab an absolute terror for a couple $1,000 and a PS5 Pro, the 30th edition version, for $1,000. Way more expensive than a console would run you, but Layden is right in that only graphically minded freaks like our hardworking hardware team are going to be able to notice the difference. Well, PS5 Pro users swore that they noticed the difference. If you're aiming for the same ubiquity of a kettle, TV, or fridge, the vast majority of people won't see much change between a mid-range gaming PC and a console. That's not true, Mr. Layden. Stop saying that, because high FPS really does make the console look kind of weird. And we got it on PC, and you can do it with low budgets too, depending on the games you're playing, but I digress. This, Layden prophesies, is what is needed to take gaming from not just being the most financially lucrative entertainment in the world, but also make it the most socially impactful entertainment in the world. The issue is, and to Layden's credit, he's talking about a pie-in-the-sky scenario. Game engines are a heck of a lot more complicated than CDs. Tuning for performance is a nightmare, while upscaling tech is downright impressive. It's far from being able to let you run current gen games well on lower end hardware. No, that is actually the developers. I've been saying this stuff, that if you think about the quality and visuals of the games back then compared to the quality and the visuals of the games now and the scale, the developers who were getting the job done back then with much less, I think, are the heroes, because we can juxtapose this so-called advancement in technology and how it doesn't seem like it's being properly utilized to its full, potential. And this is where I think there's something really weird. So he says this: in an ecosystem where visual fidelity is a huge selling point, as long as you can convincingly push for 20% more ray tracing, people are going to want that. Even the senses required to notice it are an acquired taste. Shawn, you are literally making a case against the PS5 Pro. Not to mention AI, which could be used to further technological equity between rigs, is mostly just being used to make games even more ultra real. I don't see a Blu-ray style future for PC gaming soon. And so when you kind of go ahead and think about it, what in the world then did the PlayStation 5 Pro actually come to do here? This is where it really gets very interesting at the end of the day, because he's claiming that, oh yeah, you can't really see the difference when it comes down to it. But in reality though, you can see that even PlayStation was trying to tell you, hey, look at this image here of Peter Parker and this image of Ellie. You can see that as Joe walks through the grass, we got 2 more leaves on there. And that's what they sold the PS5 Pro on. So I don't know what's going on. This is kind of a weird disconnect. And I think it's been a critical error for these consoles to dare ever try to come close to the PC side. The PC side has different variables that you can control for as a user. For instance, if you say you want to buy a 50 series right now, it's independent of majority of your build, except your power supply and maybe then a CPU when you're ready to catch up with the power of the 5090. So if you decide you want to put that power in a console, you got to pretty much revamp the entire thing. Whereas on a PC, you can strip down what you have and you can make it become the beast that you want it to become without, all of that headache at the end of the day. So I think this is where we're seeing a disconnect when, console executives in their market, want to come in and talk about what PC is doing, because there's a reason Lisa Su and Jensen are actually basically right now running the entire world in terms of what gaming is capable of. And that's because they understand what it is that they're doing in their market. Even Nvidia understands that it will be able to charge premium and it will be able to pretty much go well with a lot of folk out there. There are folks who are begging, oh, AMD needs to have their prices come down, because they want to engage and buy more Nvidia in that regard. And then there are those who are like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy Nvidia. I'm going to buy AMD regardless. And, going to forget about Intel when it comes down to it. So I guess we'll stay here looking and seeing how PC continues to pretty much decimate this console war that is not existent anymore. I told you all it died a while ago, right? Anyways, talk to me in the comment section. What do you think about Shawn Layden's thoughts? And hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.